The Kirby series holds a special distinction in Smash Bros. Sakurai, the man behind Smash Bros, also happens to be the creator of Kirby. His involvement with the Kirby series was mostly at the beginning. He's responsible for the NES game, the Game Boy game, and Kirby Superstar, which is probably the most popular game in the series. He's Kirby's daddy, and Smash Bros makes it pretty clear he loves his creation. I think Kirby has received a disproportionate amount of attention in the series, especially in Brawl. Kirby as a character is just fine, but the amount of work that's needed to make Kirby work as a character is astronomical compared to a lot of the other fighters. He's got a different costume for every single other character in the game. Some are simple, but others actually have animations and dynamic movements to them. Really, the only characters that match this kind of effort are Zelda and her Sheik transformation, along with the Pokemon trainer. It's a very good gimmick for Kirby, and very appropriate for the character, but the resource sink for Kirby is something worth mentioning. I do think he could use a new Final Smash maybe, perhaps one of the abilities from Return to Dreamland. Then you get to Meta Knight and King Dedede. These are both good characters, but I think it's a little hard to justify both of them getting into Brawl at the same time. I think one would have been plenty. It's a question of priority. These characters aren't bad, but we probably should have gotten a little focus towards other series before getting more Kirby villains, especially since Dedede and Meta Knight are both full-fledged characters with all of their own unique animations. King Dedede is an especially complex character. He's got a lot of fluid, complex animation to his moveset, on top of having Waddle Dees and Waddle Doos as a whole other set of animations tied to him. Compare the Kirby series to the Zelda series. Zelda is one of the biggest franchises Nintendo has, but it only has 4 characters, and 2 of those are clones. And the characters aren't the only kind of representation that Kirby gets. Subspace Emissary is basically a Kirby game. This is true of both the playstyle and the characters. Kirby, Meta Knight, and Dedede are all probably the most important characters in the game's story. There was a cancelled Kirby game on the Wii/GameCube, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of the assets got reused here, but I think this is a perfect example of the favorable treatment that Kirby gets. So with all that being said, it's probably pretty easy to guess what I think about the series for the next Smash Bros. Games. We don't need any new Kirby characters. It's not just that Kirby has enough characters already, but that there really aren't any more good characters from Kirby to put in the game. We've already got the main character, the main villain, and the rival to the hero. Where else do you really go from there? We certainly don't need any more villains from the series. Even then, there really aren't any to choose from. The most notable villain that isn't in Smash Bros. Already is probably Zero 2, but he's a giant floating bleeding eyeball. The other villain options like Marx or Galactonite might work if not for the fact that they're only in one game in the series and have almost no importance to the Kirby series at large. The same thing is true of the heroic options. There's a few possible abilities like Gooey or the Yarn Prince, but none of them appear in more than a single game in the series. We've already got all of the important characters that we need from the Kirby series. Kirby keeping the same number of representatives in the new Smash Bros. Is more of an issue in relation to other series in Smash Bros. Than it is to just Kirby. Smash Bros. Should probably focus on some of the other series in the games before giving Kirby another shot at getting more characters. However, the kind of representation we've seen for Kirby, in which all of the relevant characters have unique movesets and character traits, is the kind of representation that we should be expecting from other series. As far as I'm concerned, Kirby is a completed series for Smash Bros. Unless there's some major advancements in the future Kirby games, it's probably never going to need another new character. Oh, and one final thing. Please make Meta Knight not completely overpowered. As always, let me know what you think in the comments, and I will have a new video up next week.